from the Galactic Center, a metaphysical podcast hosted by the Cosmic Messenger, featuring multidimensional insights and spiritual wisdom for the collective on a wide variety of topics.
Greetings, fellow Earthlings. You are currently listening to Downloads from the Galactic Center, a metaphysical podcast, with your host here, the Cosmic Messenger, aka Derek Pennett. The date today is September 26th, 2022, and it's a pleasure to be here with you on my very first episode, episode 1, called Recalibrating Our Cellular Networks. This podcast is generated to be able to have a multidimensional hub so that we can talk about a wide variety of topics that appear anywhere in the spiritual, multidimensional, and metaphysical fields. So thanks for being here for my first transmission. Let's get right to it. So the subject at hand today is recalibrating our cellular networks. Now, what exactly does that mean? Cellular networks are covering our body from head to toe, from our feet all the way up to the top of our head at the crown. We speak to ourselves on a regular basis. We do this daily. We do it subconsciously. Every action that we speak, think, and do gets encoded into our cells. And that in turn creates a memory complex. And that memory complex becomes a part of us. And it goes with us on our day-to-day basis, everywhere we go. We take it with us when we go to work, through our vocations, if we're taking a vacation or spending time in nature, at home, doing our various routines, through pleasure time, pastimes, hobbies, even if we're doing yoga or meditating. It's with us all the time. We have trillions of cells inside of our bodies, and these trillions of cells are connected to the trillions of galaxies that are out there in the cosmos. So we have this macrocosm that's speaking to the microcosm. And when we begin to take full, active, full responsibility and full engagement with ourselves, then we were able to use them not just in the backdrop, but use them as a function that we can consciously take with us, consciously use every moment of every day throughout our quantum experiences. The conditioning that we have when we are a child, especially when incarnating into third-dimensional experiences here on Earth, as Earthlings, temporarily embodying these biosuits, these vessels, these avatars, for our soul to animate these bodies and have a unique experience, to gain wisdom and to gain lessons. We start as a child and these conditionings get compounded. especially during this time of awakening, when many of us are getting fed through layers of distortion due to various systems that take place on this planet that are not working for our highest selves. They're working for our lowest self. So this conditioning, for the majority of us, gets compounded. And these layers enter our cells. It could be brand names that are fed to us when we are children. We're talking the big multinational corporate ones. It can be the conditioning of how we're supposed to act in certain ways and do certain types of jobs to contribute back to society and participate in these mainstream ways. And this creates conditioning. And these conditions get layered over top. Conditions of self-worth. Conditions of lack, attachments, lack of forgiveness. And the list goes on and on and on. And if you take the thinnest layer, thinner than a piece of paper, and you start to stack them all up, that's what happens to your cells energetically. Our cells have an energetic response with what we do in our inner world and the environment around us. And in order to peel off these layers that have been stacked and to be able to shift them, we need to consciously recalibrate our cells, our cellular networks, and their link to the nervous system. Now, if there are beings out there who have done lots of cellular recalibrations, they have shifted a high amount of energy in their body and reformulated it, transmuted it, then the new layers that you add will be positive layers, and they will stack up. Everything is a mirror. You don't want the negative ones to stack up. You want the positive ones to stack up. And you are feeding them instructions. Your cells are alive. They're vibrant. They're made of photonic light. They're made of plasma. They're made of particles that exist on a higher plane than we can ever possibly imagine. If you were to tell yourself, I don't love myself, or life's really difficult, or I'm having a hard time existing, your cells are going to hear that. It's going to enter the pathways into your body, and it's going to vibrate through you. Especially when you say them out loud. Even as I'm speaking to you all now, you can hear my voice. But try this for a moment. When you have some space, take a minute or two. Talk out loud in a calm, firm voice. And you can feel it vibrating in and around your throat chakra, the fifth plane of existence. And that sends energy waves out into your body. Just like your cells responding to this energy, they are feeling those vibrations. So they're hearing conversations you're having with other beings. Well, then what about the thoughts that take place inside of my mind? Well, those get stacked and layered upon, and then they enter your subconscious. And your subconscious holds the totality of everything you've thought, done inside your mental body complex. dreams, thoughts, visualizations, memories, compounded information, all forms of telepathy. Your cells are multidimensional, so they're going to pick up all of that. There's not one single thing that we do that will not be picked up by our cells in physical incarnational form. Interesting, right? So if they're responding to all of these informational bits, and like we said before, it's really hard saying sentences like, it's really hard to be alive right now, or this job's extremely difficult, or I don't like my coworkers. Your cells respond to those messages. I don't like myself. It responds to those messages. Some impact you negatively. Others are neutral. Like, I prefer not to have these people in my field right now because they don't embody my highest good on any possible level. Or I'm going to allow everybody to share their experiences right now, even though I don't vibrate with them. But they are currently doing me no harm, so I allow them to express themselves in ways that are important to them. Neutral. Positive. Working for you and your highest good. If you were to wake up every single morning and give thanks and gratitude for the amazing home that you have, for the beautiful clothing that you wear, for the food and the nutrients that you have access to. Or it's a joy to wake up every single day and learn the lessons of being on Schoolhouse Earth. What a beautiful sky that is. Everything starts to shift and it works in your favor. I've had some people ask me, I've been doing this for a little while, a couple weeks, maybe a month, and I'm not fully seeing the results. I'm doing a lot of the positive reinforcements. Why isn't it shifting as quick as I would like it to? My response generally is, everybody moves at a different rate, different speeds, and it depends on how long what you're attempting to shift has been compounded inside of your body. It depends if you've had spiritual and metaphysical modalities mixed in to your lifestyle shifts. So you change the thought pattern, and then you meditated. I'm going to add a crystal in there too. Maybe I'm going to seek a new modality. I'm going to do it for an even longer period of time. Only your light body, your soul, and your oversoul complex, of course the Akashic records, and your master guides know exactly how long it may take. But the future is unwritten. Will it be short, medium, or long term? That's what they're working with. You set this up for yourself before you came here. We're also incarnating into the third dimension, which exists in harmonic universe 1, which is the first, second, and third dimensions united. So our viewpoint to the multiverse, to all dimensions in this time matrix, is the third dimension. For forms of sentient life, as we know them, it is the slowest dimension. for magnetizing and manifesting, creating and shifting. So you have this very slow field, and then you have everybody existing within it, moving at their own individual rates. Each of them having their own cells, being programmed by the self and by the environment around us. Advertisements program us. The content that we absorb through entertainment, through books, all of it merges together and has a deep, profound effect on our cellular networks. So these rates at which things may shift are going to be dependent on people's multidimensional sequences. They have their own templates, so to say. In the realm of spiritual experiences, on Earth at this time, metaphysical experiences, profound changes in your inner world, I find that a lot of them take quite a bit longer than one might expect. You will receive immediate shifts. We all do. Are we paying attention to the signs, the signals, and the messages? Because they're already there. Even if you just feel better every day that you wake up, every time that you go to sleep, you've made huge gains. But spirit and your soul and your body wants to know that you are in for the long haul, the dedication to shifting, because it does not want you to return to where you were. Because the essence of yourself, your energy fields, your higher self, is always nudging you in the direction of acceleration and growth on all planes of existence. The most important one to shift in the cellular networks is your inner world. What you shift inside of yourself will greatly affect what goes on around you. So be mindful of what you're asking for, and be very observant with a wider lens. So when you go to view the self, you're gentle for all the patterns, toxins, and distortions that may arise. Your own cells inside of you are speaking to the environment around you. And your environment around you has cells as well too. All of the beings that you're encountering, all of the biological life, they too have cells. And with these cells being in the same general radius, they interact with each other on a deep, profound level. They talk to each other. Now, what happens if there's greater distances between them? Somebody's on one end of the planet and another person's on the other end of a planet. They can still speak to each other. The way we view time and space very much is an illusion. Distance is only a means to be able to travel faster, further, and mold reality on an organic, holistic level. But working in the realms of natural law, instantaneous communication with cells on another end of the planet, or even off the solar system, takes place on a regular basis. In fact, if you think about your spirit guides, many of them were incarnated. When you think about your oversoul, which is the many parts of your soul scattered around this region of the galaxy, on this planet, your energy bodies, the pieces of you. Some of them are currently in incarnational form. So when you're changing your inner world and speaking to yourselves, you're also talking to these other parts. I love this kind of information. It's super fascinating. And I hope you're enjoying our time together. For some of you, this might be some big, wide-opening insights or information. But something to remember is that you, in this current form, on this planet, in a different time sequence, have multiple parts of you. Twin souls, we'll call them, that are on different timelines. For ease of this conversation, it's all happening in the now, but you have various in the past and in the future. So when you shift yours, you shift them all. Let's say somebody has encountered a very high vibrational observation, and they realize that in the mother line, going back to their great-great-grandma, that there was a constant pattern, a constant distorted pattern happening. A lack of nurturance and attention for their children. A massive disconnect. Holding, touching, and loving. And this being in this current now, the same timeline as we speak, notices this. Has chosen to honor it and would like to heal this galactic bloodline. So we talked about shifting your inner world and how that will affect the environment around you. Well, it will also go deep into the bloodlines. This is all simulcast. The great multitasker, that is the human biology. Radiant, powerful, beautiful, whole, and complete. So now you can shift your bloodlines. And you can mend and heal those scenarios. So that when you choose to incarnate again, or other beings choose to incarnate into these timelines, into these bloodlines, wherever you go, once you've healed that, mended it, you shift the scenario. You shift the experience, the situation. You shift the movie. A part of you comes back, let's say, in 100 solar years, calculated on Earth solar years, and they want to go back to that bloodline. Well, because of the amazing work you did, the polarity of the distortion becomes the center stage. and everything moves with grace and ease. Your cellular networks, as we talked about earlier, talk to the environment around them. So we healed the bloodline, and this is all simultaneously. We talked about the environment around you and talking to the other cells, right? Your cells also vibrate with energy. And this energy gets broadcasted out through your mind's eye, your third eye, your heart, your mind, through all of your subtle bodies, and the 7 layers of your aura. And those vibrations, from the recalibrations, from the rewriting of the instructions, the base instructions of your cells, just like programming a computer, you program your biological computer. And with that, you shift your environment. You cleanse the air around you. If you've done lots of work on yourself, and you go really deep into metaphysical work on a very profound level, with discipline, you can cleanse your environment and bring these 5th dimensional energies everywhere you go. It's going to take some time, but you'll find nature coming closer to you, responding with you. The plants, they are listening. The elementals, they are listening. The crystals, the minerals, they're listening. So if they're listening, and our cells are radiating energy, then we would like them to receive the highest quality information. Our cells inside of us are very powerful experiences. Some die off, we grow new ones. They shift, they mold, they adapt, they cleanse, they power up, some get weak. We have a whole new set of cells inside of our bodies. On a continuous, regular basis. And every 7 years, it's like we are a completely new entity. We talked about how they enter and communicate with your nervous system. And your nervous system is the master gateway into this physical vessel and through your energy fields. For all energy, because you are pure energy. Everything is energy. It's energy first. Spirituality, metaphysics first. Spiritual experiences first. And physical form after the fact. And so these cells speak to you on a regular basis. They communicate with your nervous system, which is the master energy bringer. Your relay grid. So as you keep your cells healthy and robust, they can do the tasks that are needing to be done. They can also communicate with your nervous system at a higher octave than they're used to. It takes many incarnations to entrain the cells if you've stayed on one particular planet and you come back often. to really lay a foundation. A foundation that would be hard to dismantle. Unless, of course, there's a massive drop in consciousness or a total destruction of the biosphere around you. Your cells also link up to your DNA. And they also are the master links to doing metaphysical modalities. When I say metaphysical modalities, I am specifically talking about a wide variety of possibilities that you could use. Cranial sacral, biodynamic cranial sacral, Kundalini yoga, color therapy, going for a sound bath with a multidimensional gong, esoteric acupuncture, multidimensional Reiki, Sacred Heart Tamiana, meditation retreats, spending time attuning yourself to nature. And the list goes on and on and on. There are so many modalities that we can access at this time. And when you use those modalities, you bring your body, your spirit, your emotion, your mental bodies, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual bodies. And you bring them into what's more closer to total alignment. Even if it's just for the period of time that you're involved with that modality. And through this, through using them, especially if it's on a regular basis, you will find that your cells are responding to that calling, to whatever messages and whatever vibrations and whatever you're accessing. Your cells will be able to go into those realms and have a chance to play. If you don't give your cells the opportunity to access the spiritual body, then how can it entrain itself? And how can it spend time there to help improve situations? Even if it's something as simple as mental chatter. It's like working your muscle. If you never moved your fingers, they get weak. So too is your spiritual body. So too is your deeper emotions. So too is the subconscious realms. And of course, the physical. And without your cells, the physical vessel wouldn't even be operating. Your cells store information, cosmic wisdom, as they communicate directly with your DNA. So by taking some time to speak to your cells, just like you'd be speaking to another human, or another being, or another entity, you can talk to them out loud or inside yourself. I highly recommend taking time taking quantum moments to communicate with yourselves and have a long conversation like you would a close friend. You could even spend some time meditating on it. On the weekends, I'm going to take half an hour, set up a sacred space, create a ceremony, and spend half an hour meditating on whatever intentions I want to send to my cells. And then you go about your daily lives and you look for the signs and the synchronicities that take place. It also must be noted that when you go to sleep and you enter the dream space, you hit theta wave and then you go into delta. It's a very powerful experience, and it's a continuation of reality. The two are not separate. The more dense we become as beings, in terms of a drop in density, a drop in dimensions, then we come to a place where we need to sleep more, to recalibrate, to rejuvenate, for wellness. And it seemingly feels like a disconnect between the dream world and our waking life. Now, if the average human sleeps a third of their day, that's a third of your life sleeping. That means the dream world is pretty important. And when you're dreaming, especially when you come to lucid states, but the entire time, your cells are still animating, still vibrating. In fact, they become even more active because the rest of you has given them a chance to go play. So as you are going to sleep, before you enter dream space, I like to place my hand over top of my heart, my solar plexus, the belly and the heart. And just give it a few minutes to really feel the vibrations in the room. And I like to ask my guides who are working for my highest good, my DNA and my cells, to take the entire network of everything that I am, everything that my cells have experienced, to be worked on while I sleep, so that when I arise the next day in this avatar biosuit, I can see the messages and the core root patterns arise, so that I can shift them and become the highest version of myself I can possibly be. Remember to always throw in a little bit of gratitude, and that this experience occurs at a rate that is perfect for me, at a rate that I can handle, at a rate that I'm at, currently, right now. However, I wish to accelerate my growth, and I appreciate my cells for what they do and what they offer. Now, we talked about the bloodlines, healing on other planets, that there's no distance factor, healing the inner world, the environment, and how that communicates with all of creation around us. And how it talks to Gaia and Earth. Then there's also the collective and the grid work. When we shift these cellular particles inside of us, the collective totality of what we are doing together as humans on Earth, all of those cells, the imprint, the energetic imprint of them unite. And that becomes the collective consciousness. Of course, there's way more to it, but the cells are one of the major components that influences it. And as we are natural projectors and receivers of universal life force energy, we breathe it in every single day through the prana. We breathe it out as the apana. That in turn mixes with Earth's morphogenetic fields, which is the grid work of Earth. No different than a grid of satellites. There's the organic grids, and we influence it. We work with it. We can mend it when it's had damage. And there's been a lot of damage done to the Earth's grid. There's in fact a false grid that has been laid intermixing with it that does eventually need to go. And so that influences the weather, that influences our environment, it influences waves of accelerated ascension. It helps us be aware of timelines. It helps us turn on sacred sites, open portals, and activate stargates. We are very special beings and super powerful. And isn't it interesting that the micro nanobiology that one individual cell is performs millions of tasks every day and has the encoding deep inside of itself to be able to shift, change, alter, and upgrade the entire universe. One cell can speak to the high-level entity that is a planet, Mother Earth. One cell can be the catalyst for you awakening to your true self, to finding peace and deep-rooted happiness and joy that sees all of the darkness around it, that sees the interplay of light and dark intermixing, but can come to a holistic, harmonic place of 0 point field and complete neutral existence. Wow. I really appreciate everyone being here today, listening to this broadcast. This is episode 1. Once again, my very first podcast. Recalibrating our cellular networks. It's been an honor and a pleasure sharing these transmissions with you. And I can't wait for the next episode. Be sure to share this far and wide. And also to head over to Linktree/The Cosmic Messenger. And that's your portal for total transformation. Take care, everyone. And we'll talk to you soon. You have been listening to Downloads from the Galactic Center, a metaphysical podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Until next transmission.